It weirdly feels like ages since I recorded my last video. Hello. On one of the hottest days during this heatwave here in England in July, I've decided to come into my studio, which can become one of the hottest rooms of the house. These are the decisions that we make. Hello, my name is Charlotte. Welcome to my studio here in Wiltshire in the UK, and my dresser's pockets. Alright, let's actually clip this bad boy on. So, right, now that bad boy is clipped on. I always love the revelation that is dresses with pockets. There is supposed to be like a tie here. I've just been lazy and not put it on because I felt lazy. That's all there is to it. So today I do need to tidy my studio. At the moment a lot of my artwork is off at Marlborough Open Studios. So I've recently done a video on that. However, it's meant that I've just kind of like piled stuff back into my own art studio. So a lot of it needs sorting out. And then I want to try some of the Zentangles that have been going around on Facebook and Instagram, because they resemble my work quite a lot in the line following the line following the line. It's just they've done sort of slightly different shapes, methods, that kind of thing. And I really want to play around with that. So whilst I have my sketchbook here with me, while kind of all my finished pieces and smaller sketchbooks are at Marlborough Open Studios, I thought I'd take this time to really have a go and have a play. I've also been really distracted because there is a massive cricket on the window. Like it's like that big. Its body, it's huge. So I'm gonna go ignore that and put my husband's tools away that I nicked from him. And I'll be back to tidy the rest of my studio in a sec. So to all fellow creatives, I would urge you to have a space that you can create yourself, where you can leave stuff out if you want, because that has been the biggest transformation, I think, in my art practice, from having a desk in my own bedroom to sharing an office with my husband and now having my own room in the house. It has really allowed me to transform my thinking about how I go my practice. And I know, different people have different circumstances. I know that as we grow perhaps as a family, this room might not be my room. But it's things that you take along the journey. It comes and it goes. Right. As I say, everything in this room has a home. So I'm just refinding that for some of the things in here. Sorry, that probably was a little more dramatic than it should have been. Oh, that's my water bottle. It's like even my desk chair wasn't in the right place for several weeks. editing days. But I'm going to fast forward this so that you don't have to listen to me constantly blab through this whole video. So the first one I want to take a look at is this one, and I always find her stuff really mesmerising. I think she does it all with watercolour in a watercolour A5 sketchbook. However, I'm going to be working in my A4 sketchbook today, and I wanted to create something similar with a little bit of my style involved, perhaps. Hello, Oscar. I have a plan for this page. I'm trying to work from forward to back, but I think I want a plain page of this because I want to play around with the design on a plain background first before adding other elements in. And I've just got to find a plain page. Nope. Oh, do I have one? I have one. So she started off by drawing. That sounds stuck. Trouble is where I use these pens so much, I do accidentally flatten them. I might have to go with 0.7. So she started off with just some circles. And some oval shapes. Do a really big one down here. I think I'll pop a couple more in. And then from here, we are just going to add a line after a line across, dissecting these shapes. So why not? Let's give it a go. I'm also really intrigued as to how this might work with more angular shapes, which I might do next. However, to start us off, I'm going to go from bottom to top. And if we start our first line, I have a feeling this is going to take a while. However, I'm not in it for fast art. Ideally, I'd love to be able to just slide right across. Do I trust myself? Oh, apparently I do. It's because I've got so much going on in the sketchbook. Like, you can see how wobbly the pages are, I like to call it. Just because I've stuck loads of stuff down. I've painted really thick on some pages and they start to curve. So it's not just a flat page I'm working with. I am working with the natural lumps and bumps of my sketchbook, which kind of almost adds a dimension to it in the pieces that I then add think, depending on how close the next line is, excuse me, I have the fan directly pointing at me and I think it's tickling my throat today. Well, there you go, we can fit that one in. And then on the next one, we'll bump into this shape. So we're going to come up and round. Follow this ovally curved shape. And down back to the straightish line. So that's how I'm going to continue for this whole thing. So I'm gonna watch some TV as I do this. I feel like I might do that one in like a colour, so like I've done here. Play around with the thickness, the colour. I quite like the idea of doing it in this, what do they call it? It's in Japanese, so I can't tell you. I'd call it like a grey blue, and it's 0.5. This is a 0.7, although I think I've messed it up a little bit. But you can see the difference between these two pages here. Yeah, and I'm really intrigued about how a geometric shape, so a very angular shape, might seem on here. And then it's, oh, I do have a couple of other pages, so I might play around before I get to a coloured page. This is what I've been doing with all the extra paint that I've had in my recent paintings. I splodge and splash them on here to create different backgrounds, effects. So I might draw on top of these, I might not. So like that one, I'm really interested in doing like a thicker in the background and thinner in the foreground kind of drawing style. Or like trying to play around with getting behind these textures and in front. So yeah, there's lots, and then I've got a whole bunch of plain again, and then play around with texture. So there's always something going on in here. I quite like that I haven't gone just front to back, because it's allowed me to pick and choose. I think I will soon be up to about here, so especially after I've done this and I've filled in a couple of the other pages. So I've got a couple here, this pink background, the one I showed you earlier that I said I've got a plan for that one, and then I've got a handful of these backgrounds as well. That's completed page, background there. So there's lots to play around with, and I really like the different ways in which I've done the circles and the squares and the shapes. So I've faded some in, and some are very particular. It's like those are very harsh lines. So yeah, in other words, I'm gonna carry on with this and see how much time that takes before I move on to this one. hours later and I am all finished on this single page. It kind of reminds me of fingerprints, like merging together, so you got the ones where the sort of circular forms were. A part of me prefers this, where it was blobs but they were layered over each other before I started. It just feels like it has a little bit more character, but I don't know whether that's because I've done it with a thicker pen. If I bring it up, you can like feel the motion as I move. That's so weird. It looks silvery when I do that. But if I move slow enough, there it is. So I am gonna do another couple of pages. I think I'm gonna try it with a thicker pen, and then I'm gonna try it side by side with this one, just so then I can like properly see it. So I'll do it in the same thickness pen as this, in the same brand, and then a couple of pages over I want to explore that like squares or rectangles and maybe some pentagons or hexagons as well, just to like feel for that angular. I also feel as though doing a thinner version I'll be able to get those like weird juts that I get, like the wiggles here, because I started to get them up here and here, but that was over halfway up. I don't know, it feels too plain. Compared to like those. I know those are on book page backgrounds, but it's yeah. I'm unconvinced. However, it was good to do them. And as I say, I now want to play with other ones. So it's really given me some inspiration to have a go, and to see what comes out of it. Because you never know, a big piece like this may be coming in the future. But I shall leave myself here. I might come back and show you what I do in a little bit.